Okay guys, we are solving problem number 3 as you can see over here, and we were making our ledger. Problem number 3. First ledger we were completing. This was cash ledger, and what we were doing, we were looking cash in journal entries if cash was present on debit side, as you can see 2 lakh, and we have posted same on debit side of the ledger. Sides are same for both. If debit side is in journal, same debit side would be in ledger. You can see cash was debited. We have debited in ledger as well, 2 lakh rupees. And if cash was present on credit side, we have posted on credit side of the ledger as well. This way you were completing your ledger, and several entries have already been posted. You can see over here, but still it is incomplete. In spite of the fact that several entries are already been posted, we were on 1600. This amount was for February 27. Now let's see what was after February 27. This cash was posted and we have already marked it as it has been done. Now next entry we will be looking in search of cash. Cash is yes present on February 28. 3200 is credited. So we will go to the account and we'll write down 3200 in amount column on credit side. Let's see what is the reference of this 3200. You can see cash is credited. What is written on the opposite side? Rent. So this rent will be used as reference for this 3200. Let's see what was the date, February 28. So we are in need to put date as well, February 28. Date has been mentioned, reference is given, amount has been posted. So put 3200 as completed entry, marked it. Now we will be looking for cash again. Cash is credited 6000. So we will go to the credit side and we'll write 6000 in amount column. Now see what was the reference of this 6000. Cash was credited. What is written on the opposite side? Drawings. So we will use drawings as reference and with an additional word of buy. Let's look at the date of 6000, February 29A. So put February 29A. Date has been mentioned, reference is given, amount has been posted 6000. It means it is completed. We are marking it as a completed entry, after which we have last entry. Yes, we have last entry, and cash is credited by 5600. So go and choose credit side to write 5600 in amount column. Look at the reference of this 5600. You can see salary is written on the opposite side, so you will choose salary but with an additional word of buy. Salary is written as reference. Date is very important. February 29B is the date, so we are putting February 29B in date column. Reference has been written, amount has been posted. In other meanings, 5600 amount is completed, so we are marking it as it has been done. So all entries present in cash, all entries in the journal with reference to cash has been posted. It means procedure of posting, step 1 of making ledger has been completed. This was your ledger, and even ledger is so much lengthy, it is not coming in single frame. So next step is to calculate the balance. And how would you calculate the balance? There are few steps and you will follow all of these steps very carefully. First step is to take sum of both sides. What we are going to do, we are balancing this ledger. This is a new term for you. If it is a new term, it is called balancing the ledger. And what I have said, there are few steps which you will follow. First step is to take sum of both sides. I am taking help from Excel and will ask Excel to take sum of all the amounts present on debit side. Here from 40,000, 32, 80, 30, 2 lakh. These are the amounts present on debit side. I have taken sum of all of these amounts. Now I'll go to the credit side and you are in need to take sum of credit side as well. From 56,000 one by one, you will be adding all the amounts present on credit side. On calculator, obviously it would take time and you will have to do very good practice of calculations when there are so many amounts on one side. In a single click, I have calculated sum on credit side and sum on debit side. First step is completed. Now make comparison of these two sums. Debit 382, credit 309, choose the larger sum. Which one is larger sum? That is 382 200. So you are going to put this 382 on total of both sides. On debit side total, you will write 382 800, 382 800, alright. And on credit side, total of credit side, you are going to put same amount. Here it might be a surprise for you. Total of credit side was 309 while we are putting the total as 382. It's a method of or the procedure of doing or calculating the balance. So please follow. First step is what? Take sum of both sides. We have taken, choose the larger sum which is 382, pick it and write on total of both sides. Next step is to choose the smaller side. Here 309, it's a smaller side and you will choose the credit side for calculation of initial balance. Why? Because credit side was the smaller side. But which balance? It is called initial balance. How it would be calculated? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total. On calculator, what you will write? First you will write the larger sum and then you will subtract the smaller sum. Larger sum was 382 800. 382 800 was the larger sum and then you will subtract the smaller sum which is 309 600. So what you have done, you have subtracted smaller sum from the larger sum. This way you will get the balance. This is your initial balance 73200 and immediately what you will do the next step, you will brought this balance to the downward. That is why it is called balance brought down. How? You will go to the opposite side first step and then you will come down step to the total and there you will write the same balance which you have calculated, that was 73,200. This balance you have brought it down. That is why you will change its title. You will write balance, but it's a different title, BD for balance brought down. This was the sole purpose of calculation of any ledger. Balance brought down has been calculated. That means purpose of making cash ledger is also completed by calculation of balance brought down. So we can mark it as it has been done by putting an ending line after that. So after balance brought down, you have put the line. You can see over here, it's not the line. Excel was not helping. Let's just mark the ending line again. Here is balance brought down and you have put a line after it. I'm hopeful line has been done. Okay, thankfully line has been done after balance brought down. These balances were written just for the reference. Now they are unneeded over here. You may erase it. Obviously on copies or on papers, you won't be writing these balances or totals which we have written over here. You can write these balances anywhere else on rough page or I mean anywhere you can write, but not in the neat question. We have written just for the reference and going to erase it. First ledger is completed. Now we'll go to the journal and we'll see what next entry is unmarked. You can see over here, cash ledger is completed. The next unmarked entry here is unmarked. Marked means we have marked this cash. All cash are marked. It means ledger has been completed. All entries related to cash we have already posted. Next entry which is unmarked is capital. You can see over here. It means the next title of the ledger would be capital. What I will do, I will take headings of previous ledger and will use these headings for making of next ledger. But for you, obviously it is a little hard work. You will have to make these headings again. And what I am doing, I'm just changing the title. as you know, we have decided to make ledger for capital. We will change its number as well. It's second ledger, where you can see the all headings are similar, which we have used to make cash ledger. Headings are same. There is debit side and credit side, means sides are same. We will follow capital only now. Initially or previously we were making ledger for cash and we were focusing cash amounts present in journal entries. Right now what you will do, you will be focusing on capital. All entries present in journal, if related to capital, if they are present on debit side in journal, we will choose debit side of capital as well. Now let's start our search for the capital. From the beginning you will start your search, and in first entry we have found out 2 lakh is credited. In first entry we will choose the credit side of the capital. We write 2 lakh. On credit side, it's time to see its reference. This capital we have written on credit side. What is reference? Which is written on the opposite side. It's cash. So put by cash in reference column. See what was the date. I think first February was the date. Put date beside it. Date is mentioned. Reference is mentioned. Amount has been posted. It means this 2 lakh is also completed, so we are marking it as it's a completed entry. Ledger for capital we are making. It's time to see if capital is present anywhere else. Here you can see our search has been started. We are going downwards and looking for capital again. From start to end we have seen, and capital is not present. In other meaning, all entries related to capital has been posted in the ledger. Ledger posting has been completed. It's time to calculate the balance. We will follow the same steps. First we will calculate the sum of both sides. Sum of credit side is 2 lakh, as only one amount was mentioned on credit side. Sum of debit side is 0, as nothing is mentioned over here. Now we will make comparison of both total. Credit side 2 lakh, debit side 0. So larger sum is 2 lakh, and we are going to put same 2 lakh on total of both sides. First we will be writing 2 lakh on credit side, and same total we are posting on debit side as well. First step is completed. We have taken sum of both sides here, sum of credit side and sum of debit side. Larger sum has been chosen and written on total of both sides. Next step is to choose the smaller side. Here the total was 0. Smaller side is credit side. This side will now be used to calculate the balance. Which balance? The initial balance. How would it be calculated? By subtracting smaller total from the larger total. On calculator you will put larger sum first and then you will subtract the smaller sum. You can see over here larger sum was 2 lakh. So on calculator you are putting 2 lakh first, then subtract what? Smaller sum. Smaller sum was 0. Here you have calculated your initial balance. Next step is to take this balance and brought it down. For that purpose what you will do, you will go to the opposite side and will bring that balance downward, down step to the total, and here you will write the same total, same initial balance which you have already calculated. That was 2 lakh. Put it over here. Since it is also be called balance, but with the twisted name, it is balance. But the balance, since we have brought downward side to the opposite, so it would be called balance BD. Balance BD means balance brought down. Mark it as it's a sole purpose of calculation of making ledger. It was the sole purpose of making ledgers. As our purpose has been completed, so we are marking it as completed ledger by putting an ending line. These sums of both sides were written just for the reference. Our purpose has been completed, so we can erase them. Second ledger, the ledger of capital has been completed. This was your ledger. We have already marked. We will now see what else is unmarked. Though there are so many entries you can see are unmarked, and we are going to make ledger for each and every amount present in journal. Right now what I was saying, ledger for capital is completed. Next unmarked entry you can see is purchase. This is your next entry. For making the ledger, let's make the new ledger. Title would be furniture. For that, I will hire the headings of previous ledger and will write same headings to make next ledger. Just by changing its title, we were making capital ledger, and now it's time to make ledger for purchase. We will change its number as well. Third ledger we are going to make, but remaining all headings are same. We will be looking purchase if it is debit on debit side. If it is present on debit side of journal, we will post on debit side of ledger. If it is present on credit side of journal, we will post on credit side. Let's start our journey of searching purchase. For every new ledger, we'll have to start our searching from very first entry. Now in February, date is February 2nd A. We have found out the purchase which is debited by 1 lakh. Go to the ledger and write down 1 lakh on debit side. Alright, now see its reference. Why was purchase been debited? Here you can see purchase was debited. What is written on the opposite side? To Mahmood account payable. So we are going to write to Mahmood, and Mahmood was account payable. We are posting the reference accordingly. Reference has been written, and now see what was the date for this 1 lakh, and that is February 2A. Put date over here, February 2A. Date has been mentioned, reference has been given, 1 lakh amount is posted. So we can mark it as it has been done. In this way, step by step entries are being completed. We are making purchase ledger. It's not ended yet. We will be looking purchase if it is present anywhere else as well. So start your search, and you should be very keen to look at purchase. It should not be skipped. So we have found out purchase is debited by 12,000. Go to the ledger, choose debit side, write down 12,000 in amount column. See the reference of this 12,000. So you have found out this purchase was debited. What is written on the opposite side? To cash. So you will use this to cash for reference. See what is date of this. We are looking for 12,000. Alright. Now see what was the date of this 12,000. Here purchase was debited. February 8 was the date. So we are putting February 8 in date column. Date has been mentioned. Reference is given. Amount has been posted 12,000, which means that this 12,000 entry has been completed. We are marking it as a completed entry, but ledger is still incomplete. We are looking for purchase. Again, purchase has arrived. 52,000 is debited. You are writing 52,000 on debit side. Time to see its reference. For 52,000 purchase is debited. What is written on the opposite side? To Faisal. Write down Faisal over here, and since you were buying, he must be your account payable. So we had posted account payable over here. Reference has been given. Alright, now let's see 52,000 date. This purchase we have posted. February 10 was the date. We are putting February 10 in date column. Date is mentioned. Reference is given. Amount has been posted. 52,000. So this 52,000 for purchase has been posted. We are marking it as it has been completed. And starting search again for purchase. Alright, purchase has arrived. 60,000 is debited. So we will choose 60,000 on debit side. Now see its reference. This purchase we are posting. Purchase has been posted 60,000. What is written on the opposite side? Mahmood. So you are going to write Mahmood, which was your account payable. See the date. It is February 14th. Date is mentioned, reference is given, amount has been posted. That means purpose of this 60,000 is completed. We are marking it as it is completed and are going to start our search again. We have seen purchase again on the very next entry, 16,000 purchase debit. We will choose the debit side of amount column of purchase ledger. See the reference, what is written on the opposite side. Here you can see it's to cash. So put cash over here and now see its date February 15. Put date in date column. Date is mentioned, reference is given, 16,000 posted. In other meaning, this 16,000 is a completed entry and we have marked it. Now again, you are starting your search for the purchase found out. Purchase is debited by 30,000, choosing the debit side of the ledger and writing 30,000. See its reference. For this 30,000 we have posted. What is written on the opposite side? SN. So write down SN. In reference column 30,000, SN is written as reference. See the date February 19A. So date has been completed, reference is completed, amount has been written, this 30,000 has been posted. It means we can mark it as it has been done and we'll start our search again for the purchase, going down and looking for purchase. Yes, we have found out purchase is debited 96,000. Come over here in amount column, write down 96,000 and see its reference. 96,000 purchase is debited. What is written on the opposite side? Mahmood. This would be used as reference. Mahmood is account payable again. 96,000 was the entry. What is its date? February 23rd. Write down the date. So date is completed, reference completed, amount has been posted 96,000. So purpose of this 96,000 is completed as it has been posted in the ledger. Mark it as it has been done. After this, we have found out purchase again. In the very next entry, 29,200 is debited. 29,200 would be written on debit side as it was debited in journal entry 29,200. All right. Now see its reference. What is written on the opposite side? To cash. Pick to cash and write as a reference in particulars column 29,200. See its date. It's February 24. Put date February 24 as well. Okay, 29,200 we have posted. This purchase 29,200. So we are marking it as a completed entry. After 29,200 we are searching again for purchase, going downwards, entries completed. That means no other entry is present over here for purchase. Meaningly this posting for the ledger of purchase has been completed. It's time to calculate its balance. So we will follow the same steps. First step is to calculate sum of both sides. I'm taking help from Excel and asking Excel to calculate sum of debit side, which has 395,200, and will calculate sum on credit side. It would be 0 as nothing is mentioned on credit side. It's time to make comparison of both totals. Debit side total 395, credit side total 0. Choose the larger sum, which is 395, and write down this 395 means larger sum on total of both sides, 395,200 on debit side, and you are going to write same balance on credit side as well, 395,200. What you have done, you have taken sum of both sides. Debit 395, credit 0. You have chosen larger sum and have written on total of both sides. Exactly parallel, same row you have used. Next step is to choose the smaller side. Obviously it's 0, smaller side is credit side. This side will be used to calculate initial balance. And how you will calculate this initial balance? For this you will subtract smaller total from the larger total. On calculator what you will write? Initially you will write the larger total and then you will subtract the smaller total. Larger total here is 395,200. You will write it first 395,200 and then you will subtract smaller total which is 0. Subtraction completed. This is your initial balance 395,200 and the very next step is to brought it downward. You will go to the opposite side. Balance was calculated on credit side, so we have arrived on debit side and coming downwards, down step to the total, and there you will be writing the same initial balance which you have already calculated. Put it over here, balance calculated but with the twisted name. This is balance, but we will name it as balance BD since we have brought it down. That is why we have named it balance brought down. Sole purpose of making ledger is to calculate balance brought down. Purpose has been sorted out. So this ledger is completed. We are marking it as it has been done by putting an ending line after balance brought down. These sums were calculated or written just for the reference. Now they are unneeded to be put over here. You can erase them. Ledger for purchase has been completed. It was third ledger. It's time to see what next. For that we will be looking first unmarked entry and we are going upward. Alright, so here first unmarked entry has arrived. This is 1 lakh. You can see it is unmarked. Above all entries are already marked over here, and what you are looking now to see next unmarked entry. Okay, so Mahmood is our next title. Ledger, title of the ledger, Mahmood account payable. Let's make it. For that I will take headings of previous ledger. We'll use the same headings to make new ledger just by changing the title, and now we are going to make ledger for Mahmood, and hopefully Mahmood was account payable. Let's check it out and change the title number as well. Fourth ledger is we are making, and ledger is for Mahmood. Mahmood was okay, good. Mahmood was account payable. First entry we have seen is 1 lakh is written on credit side of Mahmood. So we will go choose credit side 1 lakh. Now see its reference for 1 lakh. You can see Mahmood is credited by 1 lakh. What is written on the opposite side? Purchase. So you are going to write by purchase in particular column. See date of 1 lakh rupees. It was February 2A. Now put the date February 2A in date column. Date is mentioned, reference is given, amount of 1 lakh has been posted. So it means this amount is a completed amount. We are marking it. Now see, we are making Mahmood's ledger. Where else Mahmood is present? Start your search from here to downward, and we have found out Mahmood account payable is debited by 60,000. So we'll go and write 60,000 in Mahmood's ledger on debit side. Why debit side? Because 60,000 was present in debit side of the journal. You can see over here 60,000 is present on debit side. What is written on the opposite side? To cash. This to cash will be used to give the reference. Reference has been given for 60,000. Date is 4th Feb. So we are going to put date as well. February 4. Date is mentioned. Amount has been returned and reference has been given for 60,000. It means this entry has been completed. So mark it as it has been done. We are making ledger for Mahmood. Start your search again. For every ledger you will have to search from the beginning to end. Alright, you can understand it. Mahmood, where else is present? Yes, we have got Mahmood on debit side 40,000. So we'll go to the ledger of Mahmood. We'll put 40,000 on debit side. It's time to see its reference. You can see Mahmood is present on debit side 40,000. What is written on the opposite side? There are two references. So 40,000 would be divided into two parts, 38,000 and 200. Actually, we are making Mahmood's ledger and Mahmood is debited by 40,000. But we cannot write 40,000 as there are two references, cash and discount. So we will go to the debit side and we'll divide this 40,000 into two parts. First part is 38,000 and second part is 2,000. So you will write 38,000 and 2,000. Making ledger of Mahmood. Mahmood was debited 4,000. There are two references, cash and discount. So both references will be used. To cash for 38,000 and to discount for 2,000 rupees. And here you can see if it is discount received. Yes, you can see over here discount received. Mahmood's entry posting is completed. February 11 was the date. So we are putting February 11 for cash and same Feb 11 for discount as well. Dates for both February 11 posted, reference posted, amount has been written on debit side 38,000. It means this 40,000 where Mahmood was debited, it is completed. We are marking it as it has been done. Since 40,000 was divided into two parts, there were two references used. Anyhow, 40,000 entry is completed. We are making Mahmood's ledger. We will go and search Mahmood again. Here we have found out Mahmood is credited by 60,000. So here you will come to the credit side of Mahmood and will write 60,000. See what was the reference for this 60,000. You can see Mahmood is credited 60,000. What is written on the opposite side? It is purchase. So purchase will be used as reference. Write down purchase over here. Go back and see the date. Here Mahmood was credited. Date is February 14. So now we are putting date in our date column, February 14. Date is mentioned. Reference is given, 60,000 is posted. It means this amount purpose has been completed. We are marking it as it has been done and starting search again for Mahmood. Okay, going downwards and looking for Mahmood on both sides. Please keep your eye on both sides. Mahmood has arrived. 96,000 is written on credit side. In Mahmood's ledger, we will go and choose credit side. We'll write 96,000 and this 96,000 reference whatever is written on the opposite side, that is purchase. So you are going to write purchase over here. For 96,000 reference is given, date is February 23rd. Put date in date column. Date is mentioned. Reference given, 96,000 has been posted for Mahmood. This entry has been completed. So we are marking it as it is completed, making ledger of Mahmood. Now we'll again start search from here to downward if Mahmood is present. Yes, Mahmood again arrived on debit side 80,000. So put 80,000 on debit side. What is its reference? Cash is written on the opposite side. It will be used as reference and see the date. It is February 25th. We are putting date in date column. Date is written, reference is given, amount has been posted. It means this part of entry has been completed. We are marking it as it has been done and starting search again for Mahmood in journal. Let's go downwards and see if Mahmood is present anywhere else. Entries are completed. It means all posting related to Mahmood is completed. It's time to calculate the balance and we'll follow the same step. First step is to calculate the sum of both sides. I am taking help from Excel and asking Excel to calculate sum of debit side. All amounts selected for which sum is needed. This is your sum on debit side. I'm following the same step, calculating the sum of amounts present on credit side. Three amounts are present. I have selected and asked Excel to calculate the sum. So sum of credit side 25 and sum of debit side 18 has been calculated. Now choose the larger sum. Here 1,80,000, here 2,50,000. Larger sum is 256. We are choosing it and going to write on total of both sides. These are the steps to be followed. 256 was the larger total, and we are going to write it on credit side, total of credit side, and going to write on total of debit side as well. Exactly parallel lines would be used, and here we have removed which was not parallel. Parallel lines are chosen, and we have written the total of both sides. We have written the larger total on both sides. 256 was the larger total. It's time to calculate the initial balance. How would you calculate? For that purpose, you will have to choose the smaller side. 256, 180. Smaller side is debit side. You will choose here debit side to calculate your balance. Which balance? Initial balance. And you can see L minus S. How would you calculate this balance? By subtracting smaller sum from the larger sum. On calculator you will write larger sum first and then you will subtract the smaller. Larger sum is 256,000 and you will subtract the smaller sum, which is 1,80,000. So subtract the smaller total from the larger total, you have got the balance. This is initial balance. Next step is to brought it downward. For that purpose you will go to the opposite side. Debit side was the side where you have calculated this balance, and now go to the opposite side, credit, and take down step to the total which we have calculated, and you are supposed to write same total which you have initially calculated, but with a twisted name. You will write it by balance. Which balance? Since you have brought this balance down, this would be called balance BD for balance brought down. And this was the sole purpose of making Mahmood's ledger. Ledger has been completed. Now we are marking it as it has been completed by putting a closing line after balance brought down. These sums were calculated just for the reference, and now they are unneeded to be put over here. You can erase them. In this way our ledger fourth is completed. Let's see if number was 4. Yes, fourth number of ledger Mahmood is completed, and we will go back to the journal and we'll see which entry is now unmarked. Next unmarked entry we can see is furniture. So we are going to make ledger for furniture, and hopefully not so many entries are related to furniture. For that, what we will do, we will take and carry headings of previous ledger, and we'll use the same heading for making our next ledger just by changing the title. Here it was Mahmood, and now we are going to make furniture's ledger. Change the title and change the number as well. After 4 we are making fifth ledger, but surprisingly you can see from first to any of the ledger headings are same. One is debit side, one is credit side. We will be focusing upon furniture, and we will see if furniture is present on debit side. We will choose same debit side in the ledger as well, and vice versa. So let's go back to the start of the question. And as I have mentioned, for making any ledger you will start your search from the beginning. Those entries which are marked, you may be not very much attentive to them. Just go and see what are unmarked entries. First entry for furniture we have seen, it is debited by 16,000. We will choose same debit side and we'll write 16,000 in amount column. See 16,000 reference. Making furniture ledger, cash is written on the opposite side, so this cash will be used as reference. To cash you will be writing as reference. Cash is written on the reference. For 16,000, what was the date? You can see over here, February 2B. Come down and write down February 2B in date. Date is mentioned, reference is given, amount has been posted 16,000. It means 16,000 is completed. So you can mark this 16,000 as completed. We are making furniture's ledger. Let's start our search for furniture again, and we will search this furniture from beginning to end, both sides, debit and credit side if it is present. So we are going down and unable to see furniture for second time. It means there is only one entry related to furniture. This is a good time of learning how to make the ledger where there is only one amount. You will be surprised. Same method would be used. First, to calculate the sum of both sides. Sum of debit side is 16,000 as there is only one amount present on debit side. Credit side sum is 0 as nothing is mentioned elsewhere, as no amount is mentioned on the credit side. First step is to calculate the sum and then make the comparison. You are making comparison of total of both sides. Choose the larger sum, which is 16,000, and go write down on total of both sides the larger sum. Larger sum would be written on total of both sides. On debit side you have written, now it's time to write on credit side. So larger sum is written on both sides, total of both sides. Next step is to choose the smaller side, which is credit, as its total is 0. This credit side will be used to calculate your balance. Which balance? The initial balance. How would you calculate your initial balance? Actually here by balance is needed, but initial balance. How would you calculate your initial balance? By subtracting smaller sum from the larger sum. On calculator you will write larger sum first and then you will subtract the smaller sum. Larger sum 16,000 and 0, larger sum is 16,000, and you will subtract the smaller sum, which is 0. Subtracted, and you have got your initial balance. The next step is to brought this balance downward to the other side. Balance is initially calculated on credit side. Go to the debit side and bring this balance downwards, downstep to the total, and write down the same balance which you have calculated earlier. And in front of this balance which we have brought down, just change the title. It is balance, okay, but not the initial balance. It is balance which you have brought down. So balance brought down you have mentioned. On the opposite side, this was the sole purpose of making furniture's ledger. Our purpose has been sorted out. We are going to mark it as it has been done. Balance has been calculated, so these sums were just written for the reference. Now they are unneeded to be here. Erase them. So this way we have completed our 5 ledgers. You can see how lengthy this work is, but hopefully you will believe me that more the length of the question is, more enjoyment for me. It creates the feeling of accomplishment, and you can see that everything is arranged. We are putting attention to each and every entry. I'm hopeful that as a student you will also be learning the same thing. If you are doing anything, do it with your heart, enjoy your work, and don't ever think to lose your attention. Don't ever to be casual. Don't ever be attentive to any shortcuts. Believe me, there is no shortcut of getting success. Hard work is the only key. There will not be any easy money which will bring you happiness. If your hard work is working and you are earning, I am giving you my words, only in that way you will be happy in your life. First ledger cash was completed, then capital is completed, purchase is completed, Mahmood completed, furniture completed, 5 ledgers are completed. We are taking short break again. We'll come back and we'll proceed to the next ledger. If you have any query, if you have any question regarding this particular problem, you may comment, you may message, you may text, or you may even meet directly to ask about your problem. We are solving problem number 3 and half part of this question has been completed. We will be meeting again for the next half part of this solution. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm waiting for you for the for solution of next question, for solution for next half solution of this question. Thank you very much for your time. Allah Hafiz. See you soon.